Well, team, no post-run message this morning, mainly because I didn't go running. I woke up this morning and the body felt toasted after the fast run. Well, fast for me, run yesterday. And I suppose that's the key thing about sort of today's message in a way. We're all different and we all respond in different ways to the situation that we're in. And we have to be respectful of that in each and every one of us. And you know, what's a fast run for me is perhaps a slow run for somebody else, and an extremely fast run for another person. And it's having that understanding that we are different and we respond in different ways is totally key, especially when we're all trying to push together as one community, because we are in this together, and together we will get it done. Whoa, hell yes! Wow, that that run today, it's just filled me with positive energy. Now for many of us, it's the end of a long first week. Maybe we've been homeschooling, stuck at home. I tell you, I mean, I'm finding it really hard. But the one thing that I've learned from all my expeditions, maybe you're stuck on a big wall, in a portaledge, on a glacier, in a tent in bad weather. And that's when you're confined. Positive energy, the power of positive energy makes such a huge difference for those around you. Don't be one of those energy zappers. Be one of those people that is just full of this positivity and it seeps out of you. It's contagious. It's more contagious than this damn virus we're fighting. So today, be a hell yes. Be one of those people that's positive. We're in it together. Let's get it done. Wow, morning team, morning run done. That was a quick hard one physically, and normally on the last little bit I start to think about the morning message, the thought for the day. Well, I'm too spent for that, so all I really wanted to say today was, number one, be kind to others. It's really important right now. And number two, in conjunction with that, be kind to yourself. That's the one we often forget about, and often that's where it starts. So be kind, we're in it together. Monday morning, run is done, just under 10k this morning. How was your weekend? Mine was no running actually, but some indoor fitness on the computer and a quick cycle ride with one of the mini cools. And it's Monday, and for me Monday always represents a reset. You know, the trials which perhaps happened over the weekend or last week, put them behind me and a focus on the week ahead. And that run is exactly what I needed for that positivity. Clears my head, lets me have a bit of space to think, and I get home now, slam a cup of coffee and then get stuck into some work, having put all the trials and setbacks from last week and the weekend behind me. This is a new week, it's Monday, the start of the week, so remember, we're in it together, let's get it done together.
My mate Kenton has done some extraordinary things in his life, and he's pretty hilarious as well.
We're going to talk about climbing, we're going to talk about sports, hot topics, and we're going to merge all that together for an entertaining 30 minutes.
And I think we're live at Base Camp Barn Theatre.
Are we live now?
We are live. We're live. We're going. You excited?
I'm nervous.
Why are you
Super nervous.
Why are you nervous? Why are you nervous? Well, you're back for a second week, so you can't have it not enjoyed it that much.
No, it's been fab. Yeah, the last week was really good. I think
We pre-recorded last week, just to tell you, but this time we're
actually live. Yeah,
So
and I'm really nervous.
we are not going to swear, we're not going to say anything stupid, but I do want to know what the feedback has been for the last week.
The feedback, I think the feedback was pretty good.
Yeah.
So my number one critic is my wife, and she said, I need to be funnier. And I went, sweetheart, listen, you married a like superstar climber. You know, you didn't marry a comedian.
I think you're one of the funniest people I know.
Yeah, I think you've just been generous. So, yeah.
Those getting it done videos are hilarious.
Well, they're done on the hoof. So I go running every morning. At the last couple of K, I start thinking about what I might be able to say in an Instagram
it's amazing.
story.
I jest.
And I get there, I'm normally out of breath.
And you're normally covered in snot.
Well, covered in snot, and until recently it's been rainy and horrible and covered in mud, and the dog's like there looking at me going, really? Another run? Are you kidding me? Poor Otis is the fittest Labrador in the whole of the Cotswolds at the moment.
I tell you what, it is incredible that you keep getting it done.
Getting it done, baby.
Every day getting it done.
I'm not coming in to help you anymore.
No, I'm incredibly...
Yeah, the team behind the camera, you're no better.
And the team are distancing themselves acceptably, so thank you for doing all your hard work, guys. So we left last week at a bit of a cliffhanger, excuse the pun. The question that was asked is, how do you...
That was rubbish.
How do you go to the loo on a portaledge?
On a portaledge. Okay, so
We need
a
to know.
portaledge. So have the viewers got this picture?
They do.
A portaledge is it's a ledge that you can collapse. So when you're climbing a big vertical wall and there's nowhere to bivouac, so there's nowhere to put a tent up, you have this climbing device, aluminium tubes, and essentially a canvas shelf thing that you can kick back on, and you hang it off the wall. Now, when you need to go for a number 2 on a portaledge...
Which one's which?
What do you mean?
I don't know, because everyone says, I'm going for a number 1 or number 2. I've never found out which one's
in
which.
our household, a number 2 is a poo.
All right, it's got a rhyme, yeah, gotcha. Quality content for the people at home.
So, okay, I get back to
Get back to the story.
So when you need to pee off a portaledge, for a guy, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
You can just lean out, and as long as the wind's in the right direction. And then, as a really fun... So this story, years ago, before I was like a professional mountain guide, I was working on a, power station up near Nottingham. And we were working on the cooling towers on the power station, because what was happening, the capping stones were being blown off. So we were employed as climbers, and we had to sort of climb our way up the outside of the cooling tower, 440 feet up. And we spend all day up there straddling the capping stone with a drill, drilling in, and to put these big bolts in so it won't blow off. Anyway, my first day on the job, I'm up there, it gets about 10 o'clock, say to my buddy, so, Ewan, what do I do about going to the loo? And you go, well, you just pee off the side. I'm like, oh, okay. So I go around. He goes, no, don't face out. The gaffer will see you. You've got to face in. All right, okay. So like, sort of zip down and start going. But of course, what a cooling tower? What's a cooling tower designed for?
Cooling, I think.
Cooling, yeah. Okay, so a cooling tower, if you don't know, is like shaped like this for a massive updraft. So I'm there peeing down the... My mate, I won't get too close, don't worry. My mate is doing this slowly away from me, and about 20 seconds into the pee, it comes back up.
No.
It's horrible. But on a portaledge, you like lean off, wind's in the right direction. Yes. But a number 2, if you're in Yosemite, you carry what we call a zoom tube. And a zoom tube is a guttering with it's sealed at the bottom, and you put some lime in it to get the smell, because you might be on the wall for 3, 4, 5, 10 days. And you poo into a paper bag, so you've got to be pretty accurate. So number 2 goes in the paper bag, you wipe yourself up, and you push it down the tube. Now, I was doing this, so I was climbing El Capitan, the big... made famous by Alex Honnold in Free Solo. So I'm climbing up there with a guy who's only just met in the car park. And we get up there, and it's day 3 or 4, and I need to do a number 2. And I have a slight slight issue whereby I've got diarrhea. And I do the business, but then anyway, cut long story short, I soil my pants, and I've only got one pair. So they go in the tube as well, never to be seen again. And I end up climbing in my underwear for the next day and a half. Brilliant. Going up this thin underwear with, of course, your harness on. And
brilliant. We've actually got photos
the chaffing
of
was
you
pretty bad.
In your pants climbing El Capitan. No, we don't. I'm only joking. Do they
God.
exist? Are there any photos of you climbing in your pants?
No.
It wasn't. You haven't put them in the book?
They're not in the book. No,
that's a shame.
No. I've got some pictures from my time in Yosemite. Amazing place.
Yeah, I'd love to go
place.
at some point.
It's pretty. And of course, Free Solo, the film of Alex.
That film is unbelievable. I recommend anyone to go and watch that. So, how has isolation been this week?
Isolation? It's been tricky because I'm actually meant to be flying to Nepal this coming Sunday.
So that's when you were planned to do it?
With my lovely client, Ardavan. It's kind of all gone a bit nuts in a way. So we're at home. We're super lucky. We got great access to the outside. I'm running every day in the morning. Shifting, we've got a load of topsoil in, so we're shifting that. We're still kind of homeschooling. We're trying to put a structure in the day, which I think is really important. And we're trying to stay positive. Yeah, there's lots of unknowns, but we're just trying to...
The climbing and mountaineering community I've seen from looking online, they've been so incredibly creative, and there was something that you put on your Instagram the other
guy,
day. I thought that was more theatrical than what most of
you know. Yeah, you're gonna be out of a job soon if you're not careful.
I'm gonna be out of the job, but we've got that somewhere, haven't we, to show? This was unbelievable.
Yeah, this was awesome. So someone sent me this.
There's a guy, Philip Klein.
Philip Klein. This guy deserves some sort of Oscar. He has entertained so many people.
Well, we tried to mimic that with our new set. You can see.
Yeah, it looks a bit like Ranulph Fiennes.
Yeah, we got Ran at the back. And you asked who's in the tent. We've got this guy here at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know why he's looking so unhappy. He's still in bed.
He's been crushed by a rope.
Yeah.
At the moment, but he's living in the tent.
We
need to name, but Ran over there. He's actually getting to near the top of Everest.
Yeah, but this is awesome. So I was watching this, and then when I saw the grab, I'm like, this is pretty good. And the backflip.
That's amazing.
Very clever. But that will be me.
No, that would be me. Do you know, I've only been skiing once in my life, and it was on a dry ski slope in Wales, and I've got a scar across my lip there to prove it.
Well, which one? They've got one in Llangrannog, apparently.
That was the one. That was.
So I used to get fish and chips. So we used to go on holiday just down the road from Llangrannog.
Yeah.
And there used to be a really good fish and chip shop on the...
near the front. I remember that.
Yeah,
but I went with school, and all my mates had been skiing for years and years and years.
Well, in Wales? What, on slag heaps?
Possibly. I presume they went to somewhere with decent snow. And I went and thought... I can go from the top. The first time I've ever done any skiing in my life.
Yeah, it's not as easy as you think, is it?
And so and especially apparently on a dry ski slope. So I went from the top, didn't know anything about snowplow or parallel turns or anything, and just went straight down, hit the fence at the end, knocked myself out, woke up a couple of hours later, and a scar for the rest of my life.
Well, it's not that big. I mean, so someone once told me years ago that chicks dig scars, and that's a poor quality scar. I mean, I can't see it from here.
That's a poor quality scar.
That's not going to work in a bar for you.
What's the
quality?
Dim What's the quality? Have you got any quality scars?
Yeah, I've got a big one on my tummy.
You going to show us?
No, man, no. Of course. It's a family show.
Well, there's
I've got one on my forehead here. Somewhere being hit on a rock on Summit Day. 6 stitches went in here.
Hit by a rock on Summit Day?
On Summit Day on Everest.
And you got to the top?
Yeah, I got to the top. Yeah, it's just, we were climbing up in 2004, 5. There's photos somewhere of me being stitched up in Camp 2. And a big flat, you can see the nerves. And
that is a real bummer on the best day of
yeah, and I felt an obligation to the clients. It was I don't know, 10, 11, maybe midnight, Jumering up the fixed lines up to the balcony. And I just got this vague recollection of this, just entered the torchlight. You got a little beam of torchlight, and this rock, I think it was a rock, and bang! And I just sort of came to on the rope and blood.
So it did knock you out?
I think so, yeah.
Oh,
I kind of
gosh.
came to and trying to work out what was going on and looked down and it's like sticky blood. And so I got my balaclava and put a patch kind of best I could and struggled on.
Fair play for making it to the top there. That's
Well,
unbelievable.
yeah, you're there for the clients. You kind of got to dig deep sometimes.
Well, the thing that I've been noticing a lot at the moment is there's a lot of people in this mountaineering and climbing community who are struggling with the isolation, but some of them, and some who aren't even experienced climbers, have gone and done some extraordinary things. And I've just found this story today about a boy of 12 years old.
I wonder where this is going. Go on.
Well, no, you can see. Have a look on the screen there. A boy 12 has climbed the height of Mount Everest in his home.
Who's that? Seth, in under 24 hours.
Charles from Sheffield set himself the task of climbing Everest to raise money for his boxing club, local boxing club. And he did it. He did it in 24 hours, less than 24 hours.
That's incredible. Look, it started at 5:30 and finished at 4:45.
But
Seth, that's awesome. He's probably not watching, but if you are Seth, I applaud you. That's epic.
Well, Seth, a guy who's actually climbed Everest is now applauding you. So we'd love to maybe one day get you on Cool Conversations, because I think what you've done is amazing, and your boxing club is very lucky to have a young, talented man like you raise some money for them. So all the best, Seth. And then there was, this isn't the only person who's done this, but first of all, there's 2,500 plus times that he went up and down the stairs to climb Everest. And then we've got this gentleman who also did it for charity.
That's resilience for you.
Charity. A vegan father, you're plant-based, aren't you?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Mainly.
Yeah, nearly.
And that's John Griffin, who's a passionate vegan by the sounds of things. And he climbed his stairs, how many times? 1,363 ascents of his stairs over 4 days.
That's because he's got a 3-story Georgian house.
Well, that's it. He's got a slightly bigger house.
So I used to live in Sheffield, and the stairs in Sheffield are so steep. I remember sort of getting up in the morning one day with a cup of tea, hit the first step at the top. Next thing I know, I'm at the bottom, covered in tea, and my backside, where I went donk, 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 down, was properly scary.
So are you having a go at Sheffield stairs?
No, I like Sheffield.
I know you like Sheffield, but do you not like their stairs?
Well, they're pretty steep. I mean, you could put. I mean, honestly, they should have some sort of safety rappel line on it. Dangerous business, and especially because you've got cellars. Well, the steps into the cellar, because the guys in Sheffield, a lot of them have. I should say, well done to John on that one.
Oh, that's incredible, incredible. And he was raising money as well.
A lot of the climbers in Sheffield have. Well, it's kind of where it started. They have a board in their cellar, like a small climbing board.
Yeah.
And people like the climbers from the 80s and 90s, Ben Moon, Jerry Moffat, people like that.
So they practice the grips.
Yeah, really, yeah, exactly. In the cellars, and the steps down to the cellars, they're death.
I'm not going to Sheffield.
You think Everest is dangerous? Nothing
compared
to a cellar to a cellar in a Sheffield terrace house.
There we go. You heard it here first.
Yeah. And S7.
And just to keep going with the theme of the adventuring community doing wonderful things at home, there's also a trail runner, Rory Southworth, who launched a group climb. I think we've got a video to show, have we?
So I put a call out yesterday to see if there are any tough mountaineers that wanted to join me on an Everest Base Camp virtual expedition.
Well, you've got a whole load of people to do it.
I'm feeling really bad now. I really hope you didn't ask me.
Doing the hike that you normally ascend in an average hike up to Everest Base Camp over 5 days.
Did he ask you to help?
Each day inside your house, on your steps, your stairs, ladders, any way that you can gain that height in the legs.
Doing it at night.
Well, you could just switch the lights on.
Didn't really think about that one.
But don't you think it's amazing that people are finding ways, the interesting thing about Seth, the young boy, he was going to do Scafell Pike, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Scafell Pike.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. I thought I got it wrong. But he couldn't, and that was going to be the challenge for the boxing club to raise money.
Okay.
But he went and did it. He just thought, okay, I can't do that anymore because of COVID-19.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by that.
That's unbelievable. But I think it's amazing that this climbing community has just gone out and said, we're not going to be bound by not being able to go outdoors. We're going to do it from our homes. Maybe you should take a leaf out of their book, and maybe between now and next week, how many stairs you got in your house?
Not very many. Yeah, I live in a converted pig shed.
converted pig
Yeah,
sheds.
there are a few. No, there are a few. So there's probably about 8 or 9. So it's going to be a lot of steps for Everest.
I would like to see if between now and next week, if you could, you've said you were going to go to Nepal this weekend. Let's get to the top of Everest. Here's a challenge for you. You like a challenge?
I do like a challenge. Yeah. We come up with something. It's called Everesting. And you can do it on a bike or all sorts of things. It's climb the 8,800 feet. You can climb a ladder.
Okay. I've got a.
I think health and safety will have something to say about that. Who said that? Was that Ben or Chris?
That was Chris. That was Chris. Well, we do have Everest at the back here now.
Yeah, it would be a lot of times up and down that bad boy.
Yeah. But you could do it. You've got a rower. You could do it on a rower. You could do it on a bike. You could do it running.
I would easily do 8,850 meters on a rower. Well, I say easily. No, you get quite a sore bottom, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, we'll find a way. Between now and next week, I want you to achieve.
Because we were talking last week about Rand digging a hole. You haven't really dug in much of a hole.
I think we're digging ourselves into a hole. So that's all the amazing things that will be coming out of social media and everyone at home who, I guess wishes were doing big adventures at the moment. But there still is a group. There's a group of Chinese climbers who are going up at the moment.
I saw that in the press as well. So Everest is essentially shut, certainly from the Nepalese side. And the Chinese shut the north side. So there's 2 ways to climb Everest, Chinese Tibet and the Nepalese side. And the Chinese shut it first, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or so. But it appears that they have opened it up for a small group of Chinese climbers. I don't quite know the premise behind that. I don't know if it's hey, there's something to celebrate. I hope it is. And I wish them all, all the best.
Are you a little bit jealous?
A little bit, maybe.
Yeah, you want to get.
Because it's one of the really funny things. This time of year, it's just beginning. That sort of spring is in the air. Certainly in the Cotswolds right now, spring is in the air, and I get that feeling in my tummy that it's time to go to Everest.
Yeah, you said last week that it's sort of in you.
Yeah, I was out running this week and just thinking, I'm off to. Oh no, I'm not. Well,
you will get up there this year at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm hoping to go in the fall with a lovely girl, Rebecca. So fingers crossed, travel opens up by then. That'll be about mid-September. Still a very vague chance I might be able to go to Pakistan in the summer, but we wait and see.
And until then, you can hang out with me.
Yeah, we hang out at the Barn Theatre.
There you go.
Yeah. It's cool conversations every Thursday.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I guess it makes it feel a little bit better that it's not just the mountaineering industry. Who I read an article, and that's really, really been hit by COVID-19. There was an article on some mountaineering website which was the devastation of this industry. It's a multi-million pound industry.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at the UK, so the UK I forget what they call themselves, but they did a survey of the outdoor instructors and guides like myself, and they thought it's going to be like a 58 million loss of earnings.
Yeah,
for
I think I must have read the same.
I actually thought, I read that article, and I thought that was a fairly low estimate of income for instructors and guides and people connected with the outdoors. And of course, many of those people are one-man bands and they don't perhaps fit with some of the governmental grants and things which are available, or certainly not at the moment. So it'd be really interesting to see how that transpires. And of course, it's not simply coming out the other end, because the general public are going to be hit by it, and they perhaps aren't going to be running back to the hills to hire a guide or an instructor or a canoe instructor or whoever it may be. So, it's difficult times for the industry without a shadow of a doubt.
But I guess it does make it feel a little bit better that it's not just the outdoor industry. Football has been, the Olympics.
It's everybody. It's everybody. I mean,
Wales were going to go and win Euro 2020 this year.
Sorry, was that? There's a pig up there, a flying pig. Wales were going to.
Well, we should have won it last time, but Aaron Ramsey got.
It's a bit like winning the Rugby World Cup.
We did all right.
Yeah,
we did all right. But I genuinely think that Wales were going to win the Euro. But luckily, we're going to have another chance next year to do it. But the Olympics, that's gone.
That has gone. Yeah,
next year.
It was a real shame that. And it's just, I can't quite get my head around. If you go on my website and things, it says like an extreme athlete. I'm not really an athlete compared with the guys that have been training for the last 2, 3, 4 years, focused on that one won a time attempt in Tokyo. So my heart really goes out for them, and the organisers, etc., etc.
But you've been up with Olympians, as in you went up with Pendleton, didn't you?
Yeah. So 2018 with Ben, Ben and Victoria Pendleton, two-time Olympic champion.
Yeah, incredible.
I'm going to get this wrong. If you're watching VP, I'm really sorry. Was it 7 or perhaps even 9 times world champion?
Goodness gracious!
The girl is a machine.
Amazing.
So much energy.
Am I right in thinking that they used to? I don't know if they still do, but they used to give gold medals to people who climbed Everest.
Yeah. So you've done your research, haven't you?
I'm learning.
So the last time, so if the viewers or people that haven't heard it, 1896. Let's go back in time. 1896. Pierre de Coubertin reinvented the Olympic Games into what we know today. And the tagline was higher, faster, stronger. But when he said higher, he was actually talking about aeronautics, which was in its infancy, and alpinism, climbing. And what the IOC, or what we now know as the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, they could look back on the last 4 years and award Olympic medals for climbing. So it didn't have to be at the Olympics.
So it wasn't at the event?
It didn't have to be at the event, no. So
and they didn't have a competition?
Climbing until this year has never actually been in the Olympics as such.
Or next year now.
Well, next year, and we got a hot favourite in the women's event as well. Anyway, so go back. So it's 1896, and then it was 1924, and it was the first ever Winter Olympics in Chamonix. In France, where I used to live. And Coubertin himself handed out 13 Olympic gold medals to Lieutenant Colonel Strutt. And Strutt was a member of the 1922 British Everest expedition. And Coubertin handed these medals across, and he said that the medals were awarded for extreme feats of human endeavour on the slopes of Mount Everest. Even though the team didn't get to the top, they got really close, 8,300 metres above sea level. So 500 metres from the top. That's how close they got. So Coubertin awarded gold medals. I mean, incredible, 13 of them. So Britain won 13 gold medals. Here's a picture of the 22 team with like a rudimentary oxygen cylinder. So they attempted to climb from Tibet. So 1921 was a reconnaissance trip, and 22 was the first time they actually tried to climb to the top. Amazing. And it gets really interesting here. So when Strutt handed the medals over, when Coubertin handed the medals over, he leaned over and said to Strutt that it was his sincere wish. So Strutt was a deputy leader. It was his sincere wish that one of these medals, at the very next opportunity, makes its way to the top of Everest.
So one of the gold medals.
One of the gold medals.
That was handed to the deputy
so they're about
leader.
This big. In fact, I think we got a picture. I think Ben's brought a picture up. So that's a 1924 Olympic gold medal. That one was awarded to Arthur Wakefield, one of the members of the 22 team. It's about this big. And what we did, we fast forward. So 1924, when the medals were awarded, the British Everest team of 24 had already set sail, because they left in February. They went all the way down, round to Calcutta, then took the train up to Darjeeling, and then trekked into Tibet from there. So it took months. Yeah. So they literally missed the boat with the medals. So we know whether Mallory or Irving got to the top or not, they didn't have a gold medal on them. Because the Mallory and Irving mystery is one of the big mysteries of 20th century in a way. Did they or didn't they get to the top? But we know that they didn't have a gold medal. So fast forward, the attempts in the 30s didn't get anywhere near the top. Then the war came, and Second World War, and the whole story kind of got lost until a friend of mine, Rich Robinson, unearthed it about 2010 or 11. And he got in contact with me and said, I've just come across this story about these gold medals, and wouldn't it be an amazing thing to do in 2012, the year that the Olympics come to London, to track one of these medals down and fulfill the pledge that, strut made to Coubertin himself back in 1924. And that's exactly what we did. We tracked these medals down. We found about...
So it was a project that you instigated, you got on top, someone told you about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
And then we sort of threw ourselves into it over the course of about a year, 18 months.
Incredible.
We tracked about 6 or 7 of the medals down. Some are with the families. One is in the Royal Geographical Society in London. You can actually ask to see it. It's down in the archives.
Did you get any trouble getting your hands on the actual medal?
Yeah, the RGS said no hope. He said, no, you've got to be kidding me.
Well, yeah, to be fair, I wouldn't trust you.
Yeah, well, yeah. So when the one that we actually got hold of was, as I say, Arthur Wakefield's. And the connection came through this amazing man in Northumberland called Sir Humphrey Wakefield. He owns Chillingham Castle, the most haunted building in the UK. Apparently, Chillingham Castle. And Sir Humphrey, I forget how I got put in touch with Sir Humphrey, and then I phoned him up, and he said, you need to speak to I think it's his cousin, Charles Wakefield, that lives in Toronto. So I contact Charles, and Charles confirms he's got one of the medals. So we fly across, or I fly across to Toronto, meet this delightful man, Charles Wakefield, stay with him for a couple of nights in Toronto. And sure enough, he's got the medal. And not only has he got a medal, but they are generous enough to loan it to him.
That's incredible.
It was just the most remarkable thing. And I mean, I think we saw a picture earlier of me actually at the South Col. I think that picture is taken. So 8,000
and you made it to the top?
We got it to the top, yeah. So this is taken at South Col, but I look at my sunburnt face. It's probably after getting to the top. And I'll never forget. So there's some, I forget what it is, but the last few steps going up to the summit, I've got this thing in my hand. And of course, on Everest, you wear these big mitts because it's really cold and you don't want frostbite. So wearing these big mitts. And I remember sitting with Charles, and he was a lovely man, and we were having a scotch late at night. And I said, Charles, listen, we've got to talk about how we're going to insure the medal. I mean, A, it's priceless. It's a 24 Olympic gold medal. But B, it's a priceless family heirloom. I mean, I don't even know where to begin getting it insured. And he sat there, and he took a deep breath and took a sip of his whiskey and said, yes, insurance. Always thought it was a bit of a dirty industry. I trust you to look after it.
Brilliant.
And I just thought that was such a lovely thing.
And did you give him the medal back?
Yeah, of course we did. But those final few steps going up to the top, I got this medal in my hand, and the summit, it does drop away quite sharply, and it's hard, compact snow. If you drop anything there, it's gone forever. And I'm there filming, all I can hear is Charles Wakefield, the most bulletproof insurance policy ever. That trust between two people. Don't lose my medal sort of thing. It was, and then what we did, if anybody's climbed Great Gable, I think, it's Great Gable. If you go to the top of Great Gable, there's a plaque on top of Great Gable for the Felon Rock Club, very old climbing club. And there's a plaque to the Felon Rock members that lost their lives in the First World War. And that plaque was unveiled by Arthur Wakefield, the man that was awarded the gold medal. So what we did, Charles came across to the UK because we hosted a reunion of all the families of 1922 expedition. We brought them all together in the Alpine Club, and we just got everybody together and we told the story. And then we took Charles up to the Lake District, and we gave him the medal back at that memorial plaque on Great Gable. It just seemed fitting.
What an incredible story.
To hand it back. And of course, being a Lake District, it was June. I think we had snow on top. It was horrendous. Like, it's worse than Everest from the summit, so I handed his medal back to him.
You probably got more of a chance of losing it there than you did in
Everest. It's quite moving.
That's an amazing story.
And we tried to make a documentary out of it. Because Rich Robinson, this is brilliant. Because we've all heard of the elevator pitch. When you get in it and you go. So we had the escalator pitch. So Rich was coming back from Geneva, having done some business, and about 5-6 rows in front of him was Lord Coe. And he's on the plane, and there's Lord Coe. And Rich, being Rich, works in marketing, not backward and coming forward. He thinks, right, so puts a whole pitch, because we were trying to get money to do it, puts a whole pitch together, puts on a little flash drive, and then gets off at Heathrow, is going up the escalator at Terminal 5, gets past the minders, apparently, gets next to Lord Coe, and goes, look, and gave him what we call the escalator pitch. And they're like, right, here we go, downloaded, boff, got to the top. Lord Coe apparently stood there, a bit dumbfounded, said, wow, I had no idea. If I can help in any way, I will. Rich gave him the little flash drive. And then at the end of the expedition, at the very end of the expedition, we had a telephone call from Lord Coe thanking us for what we had done and thanking us for kickstarting what's going to be a fabulous summer of sport. Well, it was such an amazing expedition.
That sounds... And so there's no documentary of it, but there was...
No, well, Keith Partridge is an amazing adventure film cameraman. We recorded the whole thing, got hours worth of footage, and we tried to make it into a documentary, because it's archive footage from 1922.
So have you, and you've got the archive footage?
Well, no, it's owned by the BFI.
Gotcha.
Up in
I'd love to see that.
Somewhere.
That sounds like such an epic story.
Oh, it's brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant to be part of that historic story unfolded. And you can still get Olympic medals. So the last time those Olympic medals were handed out was 1988. And Jerry Kukuczka, the Polish climber, and Reinhold Messner were both awarded silver medals for climbing all of the 8,000-meter peaks in the world, all 14 of them.
What would you have to do to get a gold medal?
Nowadays, well, climbing is now a Olympic sport.
But higher, faster, stronger,
yeah,
whatever.
I mean, I don't know. Nims, so a friend of mine, Nims Dye, he climbed all 14 8,000-meter peaks in 12 months.
And did he get anything?
No, don't. Guinness World Record.
Well, I'm gonna try and speak to Lord Coe and his mates at the IOC and see, well, how can Kenton get a medal?
Yeah.
He needs his own. He's already taken one person's up,
yeah.
And then I'll take your medal up.
Oh, is that how it's going to work?
Yeah,
oh, fantastic.
That'll be great. So that's an amazing story, and I think the best way to round this up, we've got a few questions from audience.
Yeah, we had a few questions coming during the week. So, yeah, I mean, if you've got questions, ping them over to Iwan at the barn
Theatre or Kenton
stuff
Cool.
like that. So one of the questions about gloves, somebody was asking about gloves. So the last few years I've been using Black Diamond gloves. There's loads of gloves out there. Don't scrimp on gloves. I mean, I know gloves are expensive. This is a Black Diamond Punisher glove. This is what I do pretty much all my ice climbing in. I ski in these quite a lot. They're super dexterous, pretty warm, but you can put ice screws in, hold on to your ice axes and tie knots, etc. So that's a Black Diamond Punisher. When it gets a bit colder,
the Punisher.
I've got a bigger glove here. These are, in fact, we got these in 2012 for that gold medal story, and they're still going strong.
Those are the gloves that you took up?
Yeah, in 2012.
So that held the gold medal?
Yeah, this one would have done. So these are slightly thicker, again by Black Diamond. Can't tell you which ones these are. And then for Everest themselves, I wear some big Summit mitts. I've got some Mountain Hardware ones and some Black Diamond ones which I'll wear. So that's pretty much my gloves, and then I've got a very thin pair of leather Black Diamond gloves. But the key thing with gloves is just finding a good pair that fit. And then the other thing, somebody else pinged me a message, actually only this morning, so I forget the name, about books, good mountaineering books.
And we've got one right here.
And there is some, and we did say earlier that you can find these on Amazon or hit me up. I got some hardback ones. The hardbacks are out of print, so I can sign them for you. Well, Kenton, and all proceeds will push towards a barn theatre.
Just to repeat that, so if you buy Kenton's book, he is going to very generously donate the proceeds to the barn theatre. So I think your sales are going to go through the roof now, Kenton. But that's amazing. Thank you for that. That's so incredibly generous.
The least we can do. But really good climbing books, which that isn't.
So we're going to have no sales now.
No, that's a really good book of climbing yarns and tales and escapades. But if you want a beautifully written book, I mean, I've recently read it for the first time, and I've been meaning to read it for years, and I was just blown away. Lionel Terry, who was a French climber. He was on the first ascent of Annapurna, did the second ascent on the north face of the Eiger, Conquistadors of the Useless. It's a beautifully written book. And it's many of the things he says are as true today as when he wrote it in the 50s. And with Head and Shoulders, it's probably my favorite climbing book I've ever read. It's romantic, it's daring do's. And then other books out there. I mean, Chris Bonington's got some great books.
Touching the Void?
Touching the Void is a good read. I mean, it's quite harrowing because we went to see the stage production together.
We did go to see it. We went on a date.
When we could go out. And,
when we were allowed to go to a theatre.
That was awesome. You arranged that. Thanks for that. And then in my Boorman Tasker, there is a Boorman Tasker Award for mountain literature. And so Shining Mountain is a great read as well. But Lionel Terry's book is a thing of beauty.
We've just had a question come in from Twitter whilst we've been on the air as well, on the Periscope feed, asking what your routine, your training regime is going to Everest.
Training regime going to Everest. Well, I mean, I try to stay fit most of the time. I mean, you see me out running. I used to do a lot of CrossFit. I don't do quite so much. Just doesn't fit with a school run. But I got like a basic weight setup at home. I've got a refurbished rowing machine. I got a barbell. Got some kettlebells. So it's pretty simple.
A bit of strength and conditioning, as well as that endurance
some
stuff.
Some kettlebell swings, some squats, sit-ups, push-ups, and then I do a lot of running. Running's a relatively new thing to me. I've got, we could talk about this next time. I've got a lot of metal in my ankles from a really bad climbing accident. So I didn't run for many, many years, but I've gone into running and I love it. I mean, I'm a rubbish runner, but it gives me the space of being outside. So I run virtually every day, which is great. And then just sort of timing the hills if you can. So it's finding a time around our busy work schedules. All of a sudden, we don't have busy work schedules. So be kind to yourself. Work on your body. It's the most precious thing that we have. So, be it, Joe Wicks, the PE with Wicks or whatever it's called in the morning with children.
Changing the game.
I've been doing that with the children. There's loads of online people out there.
We're starting one with Disco David Long here at the Barn Theatre.
Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I use Ollie as well. I think Cotswold Community Fitness or something like that. Yeah, I mean, there's loads of people out there who are doing these amazing things for the community. It's so good to see. We're talking about the climbing community coming together. I think the communities are coming together. We're here in the Barn Theatre. This is community.
Yeah.
The fitness community is
two
coming
worlds.
together.
How can an Everest climber and an artistic director of a theatre ever come together on a stage? And it's happening because of this. So I'm seeing a load of great stories happening because of this awful situation that we're all in, but it's exciting. And once again, Kenton, for everything you're doing to help us here at the Barn Theatre. As Kenton said, if you buy his book, he's going to give the money to the barn. So please, even if you have a copy, buy another 5.
So the way to do that, if you buy it from Amazon, it won't go to the Barn Theatre. So hit me up on social media. I've got about 100 hardback copies at home. I can sign it and get it out to you.
Amazing.
And we push the we're going to keep the barn open. That's our pledge.
That's what we're going to do.
That's what we're going to do. And we're going to climb Everest in the autumn.
Am I going to climb?
Virtually or otherwise.
Am I going to climb?
Come to base camp. Come to base camp. We bring the whole team to base camp.
That'd be great.
Chris.
We'd love to be there.
Lots of Ben's laughing at that one. We bring this chap as well. He might put a smile on his face.
Yeah, we need to work on his attitude.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, he's not being part of the team. Positivity. That's what we want about.
More positivity next week.
Yeah, same time.
Same time.
Same place.
And it'll be live again because now we got used to it. We've done one. We're excited for the next one.
Really nerve-wracking, actually.
Was it really?
You were sweating.
After about 30 seconds, you were fine.
Yeah, properly sweating. So
it's really, you should have put your shades on.
Yeah, well, yeah. There we go.
There we go. Thank you very much, folks. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in.
For some more cool
conversations.
Boom.
Woo! Get it done.
We're done.
Yeah, I've met people like you in pubs before. All right, mate. Got some cheap climbing equipment here.
He's been to the top of the Brecon Beacons.
But I was looking for you. You weren't there, man. You say you're from Wales. I thought, well, all Welsh people hang out.
I think he's been to the top of Cheddar Gorge a few times.
Beautiful there.
He's not quite made it to the top of the Black Mountains, which is where I was born and raised. But I'm going to work with him.
Oh, you're from Carmarthen. I've been to the cattle market in Carmarthen. I didn't see you there.
No, I was there. I just ignored you.
Who were those comedians? Bob Mortimer and Vic Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do they do?
Yeah, well, they had that interaction going.
Yeah.
I never really liked Vic Reeves that much, and you're coming across Vic Reeves like... Hi, I'm Kenton Cool.
Hi, I'm Iwan Lewis, and this is
Cool Conversations. So you too. Little Willoughby uses this for the gardening. Much to my utter disgust.
As soon as we've done I'm Iwan Lewis, let's get a bit of eye contact so we know, and this is Cool Conversation. It's all about connectivity, connection.
Yeah, Ewan's great. I'm only going to say that once. I'm never going to say it again.